Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys a 5-step formula that will help you to win a lot more matches and quickly push your rank when you guys are playing BR rank matches. And since we are going to be going step by step, each of these steps are going to be very important, so I recommend that you watch until the end without skipping any part. So with that being said, first of all, let's start with step number 1. In step number 1, I'm going to tell you guys 2 of the most important things that you need to do before you go into a match. And if you guys do these 2 things that I'm going to tell you guys, you will have a better chance of winning more matches. The first one is choosing a really good loadout. Now, if you're not sure which loadout to use when you're playing BR rank matches, here are 3 of the best loadouts to use when playing BR rank matches. The first one is the armor crate loadout. The second one is a lot better if you're playing with your squad, which is the supply crate loadout. And the third one is the bonfire loadout. Now, the second most important thing that you need to do before going into a BR rank match is selecting a really good character combination. Now, I think you guys know there are a lot of characters in Free Fire and we can create a lot of different character combinations. But in this video, I'm going to tell you guys the character combination that I would personally use if I'm pushing my rank. So the first active character of this character combination is the K character. Now, personally, I think the K character is the best character to use if you are trying to push your rank in BR rank matches. The first reason for that is because, as you guys know, the K character gives us EP, and with that EP we can stay outside the safe zone for a longer amount of time when we compare it with the other characters. And the second reason is that we can convert that EP into HP as well. So overall, the K character can be a very useful character, especially for surviving in matches. So because of that reason, we are going to be using the K character as the active character. Now, for the first passive character, we are going to be using the Ford character. As you guys know, when we receive damage, the Ford character gives us 10 HP per second for 3 seconds. Now, for the third character, I recommend that you guys use the Misha character. The Misha character is going to be very useful when you're driving vehicles. And the reason for that is because when you're driving vehicles while using the Misha character, the default aim won't work that well on you. And the other thing is that Misha character also increases the speed of the vehicle as well. Now, for the fourth character, I will give you guys 2 options. You guys can either go with the Kelly character for movement speed, or else you guys can go with the Lucata character to increase your HP capacity. The Lucata character will increase your HP capacity from 200 to 250 when you eliminate 2 enemies. So guys, now let's move on to step number 2. Now, the second step is landing. Landing is one of the most important steps when we are playing BR rank matches, and if your landing is very bad, there's a high chance that you could get eliminated very early on in the match, and if you get eliminated very early on in the match, you might also lose a lot of rank points. So first of all, when you're landing, try to land on a safe place, and also when landing, try to move far away from the plane line. If you land on busy spots, there's a chance that you could get eliminated very early on in the match. For example, in the Bermuda map, some of the busy places are the Peak, the Clock Tower, Blue Zone. So try to avoid these busy places and try to land on safe places. But when you're landing on safe places, if there's another enemy coming with you, try to move away from that enemy. Try to go to a different direction. The reason that I say this is because if that enemy lands before you and if the enemy picks up a gun, he might be able to quickly eliminate you. So remember, if there's another enemy coming with you, try to move to a different direction. But if you're too late to change your direction, try to quickly find a gun. As soon as you land, try to quickly find a gun, because if you find a gun, you will be able to defend yourself against that enemy in the match. And another tip that I want to give you guys when landing is to use the Falco pet. If you're playing with your squad, ask at least one of your teammates to use the Falco pet. And the reason that I say this is because the Falco pet increases the gliding and diving speed, so you'll be able to quickly land a lot faster. Now let's move on to step number 3. Now, as soon as you land, the next most important step is looting. Try to loot as much as you can, and also try to avoid as many fights as you can. But if there's an enemy very close to you and the enemy is trying to attack you, it's okay to attack the enemy. But if the enemy is just far away from you, a little bit far away, try to avoid that fight and try to loot as much as you can. And guys, one of the reasons that a lot of players get eliminated early on in matches during this stage is because they try to rush the enemy without the necessary loot. For example, if you try to attack an enemy without a vest, and if that enemy has a high damage gun such as a M1014, that enemy might be able to easily knock you down. So remember, as soon as you land, try to loot the most important items. For example, a vest, a helmet, medkits, and also the guns as well. Now, when talking about the gun selection, another thing that I want to tell you guys is to select the guns that you know how to use well. Don't just choose a gun just because another YouTuber uses it well, or just because your friend uses it well. Just go with the gun that you know how to use well, because if you go with the gun that you don't know how to use well, you might miss a lot of shots and the enemy might easily knock you down. So go with the guns that you know how to use well. And another thing that I want to talk about is headshots and body shots. If you are a person that has a very hard time trying to get one-tap headshots or drag headshots, but if you know how to do body shots really well, go with body shots. The reason that I say this is because, for example, if you try to do one-taps in a ranked match and if you miss a lot of shots, then he might easily knock you down. So it's better to go with the style that you know well. So if you are a person that knows how to do body shots really well, go with body shots. But if you want to practice one-taps, I would recommend that you first of all practice doing one-taps either in the training ground or in classic matches. But in ranked matches, I would recommend that you go with the style that you know best. But if you are a person that knows how to do one-taps very well, if you are a person that knows how to do drag headshots very well, that's really great. Go with them if you know that. But if you are a person that has a hard time when trying to get one-taps or drag headshots, just go with body shots. Now let's move on to step number 4. Now step number 4 is to try to survive until the top 10. Now I know it can be a little bit hard to do this, but I will tell you guys 2 ways of doing this. The first one is to move from cover to cover. Try to avoid going in open areas, because as you guys know, if you try to go in open areas where there aren't a lot of covers, you might get attacked from different sides by different enemies. So try to move from cover to cover. But the problem of using this technique is that sometimes there could be enemies inside cover, sometimes there could be enemies inside houses, camping inside houses. And another problem with this option is that sometimes enemies could also leave landmines in covers and houses, so it can be a problem. So personally, I think the second option is better than the first option. Now the second option, I have already talked about the second option in some of my previous videos, and some of you guys that use this technique told that you were able to quickly push your rank. So now if you're a new viewer, I will tell you guys how to do this. First of all, what you need to do after looting is to find a vehicle. 2 of the vehicles that I would personally recommend if you are planning on using this strategy. First one is the sports car and the second one is the bike. And when you're using this strategy, I highly recommend that you use the Misha character as well, because as I said earlier, if you're driving vehicles while using the Misha character, the default aim won't work that well on you. So when you're using vehicles with the Misha character, it's kind of like you're using a temporary moving cover. And now once you find the vehicle and now once you're using the Misha character, next what you need to do is to move from safe zone to safe zone and try to survive until the top 10. Now let's move on to step number 5. Now once you survive until the top 10, the next step is to go for the kills. Try to get as many kills as you can in the match once you get to top 10. And while you're doing this, try to also aim for the booyah. If you get the booyah, you could also get a lot more points, so try to aim for the booyah as well. And during the ending stages of the match, another thing that I want to tell you guys is to try to avoid looting, because during the last few zones, the zones will be a lot smaller, so the enemies might also be a lot closer to you. So if you try to loot during such a situation, there might be different enemies attacking at you. So try to avoid looting at the ending stages of the match. Now guys, if you guys want to know the best sensitivity to use to get headshots after the update, make sure to go and check out this video. So that's it for today's video guys. I'll see you guys later on with another video, and until then, take it easy fam. Peace.